What is going on, everybody? Hope everybody is enjoying their day so far. We are back with another mock draft. If you already missed it, we went through our first round mock draft going through teams 1 through 32. So if you missed that, it should be on our channel. Today, we're going to be focusing on one team, the New Orleans Saints, who hold 9 picks and who hold the number 9 spot in this 2025 draft that will be happening on next Thursday in Green Bay, Wisconsin. So definitely exciting times. But New Orleans coming into this, a lot of eyes are going to be on their number 9 pick, especially with the news pertaining to Derek Carr that dropped on Friday, saying that he is potentially going to be out for the year with a shoulder injury. And then there's some further reports that injury might not even exist and that he wants a trade or is unhappy that the Saints have restructured. So there's a lot of question marks surrounding this team heading into draft week next week. So we're going to try to piece it together, go through all 7 rounds for the New Orleans Saints. So let's go ahead and get this knocked off. I'm going to be curious to see, we're using the Draft Network mock draft simulator, so I'm going to be curious to see if there's any surprises in the first couple of picks before we're on the clock at pick number 9. So let's go ahead and kick things off. We'll go ahead and quickly go through the top picks. Looks like Cam Ward, quarterback of Miami. If you really look at the mocks and also the drafting odds, Cam Ward is going to be your number 1 pick. Travis Hunter goes number 2 to the Browns. Giants select Abdul Carter. Will Campbell goes to the Patriots. Mason Graham, defensive tackle out of Michigan, goes to the Jags. Ted McMillan actually goes to the Raiders. Tyler Warren goes to the Jets. And then Jalen Walker is to the Panthers. So we are on the clock here for the Saints pick. A lot of needs. So your top players right now, according to this, is Will Johnson, Shamar Stewart, Shedeur Sanders. Obviously, there is a need at quarterback with Shedeur Sanders being there. Will the Saints do that? I think they could definitely do that, and we're going to do it here in this mock draft. We are going to be taking Shedeur Sanders. I think that if the Saints don't take Shedeur at 9, they could potentially move up in the later first round if Jackson Dart is still on the board, or if Dart is there at number 40. Or maybe they take either Jalen Milroe in the 3rd round or maybe Tyler Shope out of Louisville, a quarterback that they have definitely invested their time in. But we will be taking Shedeur Sanders with our first pick. The quarterback, we won't be touching the quarterback anymore. So we do have some really good prospects still on the board, especially at the edge position. I'm really looking at Nick Scorton, James Pierce. Malachi Starks would definitely be a really good pick. I mean, if he falls all the way to 40, I mean, we're looking at the Saints. The safety position is definitely a need for them. Josh Simmons would also be a need, offensive tackle. But I just can't really pass up on getting a guy like Malachi Starks. He's a first-round talent. So far, we have Shedeur Sanders. We drafted him at number 9. Malachi Starks, the safety out of Georgia, we drafted at 40. So the Saints, upcoming in the 3rd round, do have 2 picks. So I will be curious to see who will be on the board. So we already knocked out the quarterback in the safety need. I still see Tyler Booker here. That's definitely going to be an interesting pick. I do see Mason Taylor. That's definitely a need for the tight end. You did bring back Jawan Johnson. You also have Foster Moreau at that position. So I'm really between Tyler Booker or Mason Taylor. Let's go quickly to the running backs. I mean, you could go with Dylan Sampson, Ollie Gordon there if you want to get a compliment running back to Alvin Kamara, who is just getting older and older by the day. But I just really hard to pass up on a guy like Mason Taylor. The Saints really need to go to tight end. I mean, you have Shedeur Sanders, get him some more toys there. So we do have another pick here in the 3rd round so far. We do have Shedeur Sanders, Malachi Starks, and Mason Taylor. Whenever we're done with this, we'll go back to our picks to see where we stand. So Tyler is still on the board here. That would definitely be a really good pickup for the Saints. Beef up that offensive line. Could either go with Tate Rutledge too at the interior offensive lineman for Georgia. We already got the quarterback. Let's see what wide receivers we have because we haven't really touched wide receiver. Jack Bech would be a really good pick here. But I just can't really pass up on a guy like Tyler Booker. Booker out of Alabama. You could really go either way with either him or Tate Rutledge, but we will be going with the interior offensive lineman for Alabama. So that's another offensive piece there. So far we've had offensive picks with Sanders, Mason Taylor, and then also Booker with our second of 2 third-round picks there. So let's go back here we're still on the clock here. We could go offense. I mean, we go all in on the offense here with Dylan Sampson. Let's see the cornerbacks, because cornerback is also needed. You have Jalen Smith, BJ Adams. You could definitely wait for that. You look at the wide receivers. I mean, Isaiah Bond would be a tremendous pick there. I mean, especially in the fourth round of that. Looking at edge rusher, we haven't really touched edge rusher. You have Savion Jones out of LSU. Antoine Powell-Ryland, the edge rusher out of Virginia Tech, wouldn't be a bad pickup either. I think I'm going to go with wide receiver. I know I'm going wide receiver heavy here, but maybe I'm going to switch things up here. Let's go with Dylan Sampson. Dylan Sampson, if you watch this tape at Tennessee, I mean, that is just an absolute stud of a running back to get it in the fourth round. I was thinking about going with Isaiah Bond, but I mean, it's pretty. You look at the wide receivers of the Saints; it's pretty similar builds to both Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed. So maybe the Saints are going to be somebody of a big body wide receiver. I mean, you already got Mason Taylor. So far, this has been an offensive heavy draft. We've gone 4 offense. So I feel like here in the 29th pick of the fourth round, we might want to go to the defensive side of the ball. So I'm looking at right now Danny Stutzman, Oklahoma linebacker. He was really good for Oklahoma this season. We could go with Savion Jones. Edge rusher is definitely a potential need, though. You brought back Chase Young. Cam Jordan, I mean, he doesn't get any younger by the days. You could go cornerback here. Denzel Burke is your top cornerback out of Ohio State. But let's go with Danny Stutzman here out of Oklahoma. He is a sensational linebacker, one of the top tacklers in the SEC this past season. So we will be going with Danny Stutzman there out of Oklahoma. So that's going to round out round number 4, and now we'll be waiting on our next pick. So far we kind of balanced it out. I believe so far we've had 4 offensive picks, only 2 defensive picks, but those 2 defensive picks are Malachi Starks and Danny Stutzman out of Oklahoma. The linebacker has solid picks there. So as we wait here, doesn't look like the Saints have a 5th round pick. So we will be picking in the 8th spot here in the 6th round here. So look at the best players. Rashad Smith, running back out of SMU. We've already drafted a running back. You look at Trevor Etienne. And I'm looking at a guy, Nick Nash. That is definitely a player that could catch my eye. And we're going to continue to go wide receiver heavy here and go Nick Nash out of San Jose State. I mean, you're just adding the position. I know I said that maybe the Saints will be looking for some big body receiver. But, I mean, in the 6th round, you just got to go with pure talent. I think that Nick Nash will definitely catch the Saints' eyes there. So you already got your quarterback, running back, and receiver tied in. So Saints really looking strong on the offensive side of the ball in this draft. So I think that we're going to kind of complement the end of the drafting here in round number 7 with more defense, potentially get another cornerback because that's definitely a position of need there. So let's look at the cornerbacks here and the edge rusher too. We could get David Walker out of Central Arkansas. Let's look at the top cornerbacks, though. Tommy Hill out of Nebraska, Jason Marshall Jr., and Jordan Hancock there. But we will go with an edge rusher here. Let's go ahead and go with David Walker out of Central Arkansas. So we're getting another edge rusher for the Saints. So now we have another pick. I think that we're going to go corner here. Looks like the top guy that we just mentioned at the quarterback position is gone. So we're just going to go with the best available. I mean, when you're in this round, you just got to go with the best available player. So we will go you know what? Let's go with Ohio State player because the Saints just love to pick Ohio State players when it comes to this NFL draft. So let's go with Jordan Hancock, the quarterback of Ohio State. So that is our draft. Let's go back to all of our picks and kind of summarize this draft class here. So pick 1.9, we picked Shedeur Sanders, quarterback out of Colorado. So looks like on this, on Draft Network, he is listed as a ranking number 2 quarterback behind Cam Ward. I mean, everywhere I've seen it outside of Mel Kiper having him as a 1, he's been the number 2 prospect at the quarterback position. Malachi Starks, I mean, I just don't see it happening in the real draft. I feel like someone like the Baltimore Ravens potentially. One of those teams in the the mid 20s, high 20s are going to be taking Malachi Starks, but that was definitely a steal to get at 2.8. So he's the number 2 safety. Mason Taylor we got in the third round. That was one of our first of 2 picks in the third round. So we really went with heavy offense here. We went on a little bit of a run before we went with Danny Stutzman in the 4th round. We used our second pick in the 3rd round to get Tyler Booker, the interior offensive lineman out of Alabama. Looks like he is listed as the interior offensive lineman number 3. Mason Taylor, who we picked at 3.7. He was the tight end 4 in this draft class. Moving on down, let's go to our 2 picks in the 4th round. You can see here the Saints really have a lot of draft capital in the early round of this draft, so they could definitely get some really good players and talent-wise in the early part of this draft. But we went with Dylan Sampson and Danny Stutzman, one of the best running backs in this class. Danny Stutzman, out of Oklahoma, is listed as the number 7 linebacker in this class. In the 6th round, we drafted Nick Natch, wide receiver out of San Jose State. He is listed as wide receiver number 19. So in a deep class, I mean, to get a guy like Nick Natch in the 6th round, that is definitely a solid pickup for New Orleans. And then in our draft, we got David Walker, the edge rusher out of Central Arkansas, to beef up that defensive line of the Saints. I think if I would have went somewhere else, I probably would have picked up a defensive tackle in this draft. But looks like we have passed on that. And then the quarterback position to finish things off, Jordan Hancock of Ohio State. So that is my mock draft for the New Orleans Saints. Let me know who you have the Saints taking at pick number 9. I definitely want to know your thoughts down in the comments. And I appreciate everybody for tuning into today's video, and I will catch y'all next time. So for us, so long for now.